Welcome, my dear 5B students. I'm very glad to see slightly over half of you here for today's lesson. In case you're not able to make the entire duration, do not worry. Simply exit if you need to go for a lesson or a family appointment. Make the recording available to all of you by this evening, okay? If you find that I'm going too fast and you need to slow me down, please also watch the recording later at half-x speed. You can control the playback speed of the YouTube recording, okay? So I will send it out post-haste by this evening. And for those of you who've just joined us, please adjust your volume so that you're able to hear me and see me clearly. You should see on your screens oral review SBC types 1, 2, and 3 questions, and you should hear my voice quite clearly. If there's any stuttering or jitteriness in the video, please go closer to your router, your internet router, so that your signal is cleaner and more consistent. Okay, without further ado, let me begin. Let me set the context. In 2 weeks' time, literally, you are all going to sit for your end-of-year examination, oral examinations. This is the first time you are sitting for an actual exam-oriented oral assessment. So I'm going to go through the entire procedure as well as certain tips and tricks to help you to master the situation and feel less nervous. Okay, are you all ready? If you are, give me a thumbs up. Awesome. I love to see the wave of thumbs up going up. Now, today, I'm going to be focusing only on conversation because typically this is the part that is the most challenging and difficult for students to master, okay? And I'm going to go through it systematically and give you a bit of a review of what we've already covered, as well as link you to some new strategies that I'm going to introduce and content that I'm going to generate for you through today's session. Next session on Monday, I will go into reading aloud and a little bit of a review on the content we generated today. So today is part 1 of a 2-part oral series that will end on Monday next week. Okay, so let's go into this without further ado. So I'm going to make this statement and remind all of you that the passage and the picture in oral are always linked. I say again, the passage and the picture in oral are always linked. Whatever the passage you are reading is about will be what the picture is about, 100%, not 95%, 100%. So be very alert to the ideas that are introduced in the passage because they will be the same ideas that will be reviewed in the picture. In other words, if you get into a point where you are frozen, you don't know what to say, you can refer back to the passage to help to restart your thinking process because the ideas will be related, okay? Now, the theme or the main idea is often identical, if not very closely related. For example, if the passage is about storytelling competition, then the picture will show you a poster advertising a storytelling competition. Okay, or if the passage is about healthy eating, then the picture will show you pictures of different types of foods, or show you pictures of a restaurant advertising healthy options, or something related to eating or diet. So the ideas are often exactly the same or very related. So therefore, use the passage to best effect. Okay, you may use ideas from the passage, but don't copy wholesale because it'll be very obvious to the teacher that you are copying the idea from the passage. Modify it, embellish it, add to it, review it. Don't use exactly what you read in the passage, but you may use ideas from the passage if you modify it in your response to the pictures. And I'll show you how later. All right? Yes, Duncan?
Does this also apply to Chinese?
Yes. Okay. However, to the point at which what is the degree of association and what's the percentage, I cannot say. Okay. There will be some relationship, but in English, the relationship is almost 100%. Let me move on. Okay, so no questions other than that question. Today, I would appreciate if you restrain the questions to English, right? I am not qualified or am I prepared to answer questions on mother tongue, okay? Please direct that to your mother tongue teachers. Okay, so let me go straight into SBC, which is an acronym for stimulus-based conversation, as you all would have guessed by now. Okay, so SBC, what are some of the outstanding features of it and formats that you all need to bear in mind? There are always 3 main questions. They are like the skeleton of SBC, 3 questions. And these 3 questions are always the same categories. First is the picture. Second is yourself. And third is the world or the society around you. So picture, self, society. Question 1, question 2, question 3. It always follows this format. So when you think about the topic, right, you must always think about the picture, yourself, and how this relates to the larger society in which you are in this case, Singapore society, not Australian, not American, Singapore society. Again, I repeat, it starts with the picture. You must respond to the picture. Then it goes to you, your own preferences, thoughts, and opinions. And then it extends outwards to how it relates to society and the world around you. Okay? I will conceptualize it for you later. Okay? So always remember, you must always be asked at least 3 main questions. If you come out of the exam room and the questions you have been asked is less than 3, please alert any teacher immediately. You must be asked 3 questions at least here and in PSLE. Maximum number of questions can be more than 6, but minimum must always be at least 3. And these 3 main questions will always cover, again, the picture, yourself, and the world around you. Main prompts, these 3 questions are compulsory. You must answer them. You cannot say, I refuse to answer or I don't know the answer. You must answer these 3 main questions, right? I say again, you cannot ask the teacher to change the question and you cannot ask the teacher to ignore the question. You must answer these 3 questions. There is no choice. It's compulsory, okay? Right? And sub-prompts, any in-between questions may be optional. So I'll explain to you what's optional later, all right? But just remember, you need to answer all the questions. And you must answer them in a particular format using the acronym TREES. Can you all remember TREES? T-R-E-E-S. Now, who can remember what T stands for? Raise your hands, please. T. T stands for what? Okay, Jairus, go.
Is it thoughts?
Absolutely correct. And I like that you pluralized it. Thank you. It's not one thought, but many thoughts. I think, I believe, I feel, in my opinion. All these are sentence starters you can use to express your thought. I think, I believe, I feel, in my opinion, right? So you always respond with your thoughts. Always think about what you feel, think, or have an opinion about regarding the picture. What is R after T? Anyone? Dia, go.
Reasons.
Very good. Again, I like that you pluralize reasons because it's more than one reason. And in English, Mr. Pang's favorite number is what number? Everybody hold up your fingers. What is Mr. Pang's favorite number? Yes, very good. Always remember the rule of 3. Always try to answer in triplets. Always try to answer in triplets. In other words, if you want to give one opinion, support it with 3 reasons, 2 or 3. If you cannot think of 3, 2 is fine. But remember, don't ever just end with 1 because 1 reason is very weak. Always have 2 is better than 1. And 3 is the most stable, right? Think of a tripod, right? It's very stable shape, okay? 3 reasons are the best, okay? Good. What about E and E? Can someone give me both the E's? They usually come together, okay? Yes, Dia's waving her hand. Go, Dia.
I'm not
Sir, please
sure,
don't
but
play with the background. Thank you very much. This is not a time for you to explore the options of backgrounds. Thank you, user. Yes, sorry, Dia, go ahead.
I'm not sure about the second E, but I'm only sure about one E.
Go ahead. Give me one.
Explain.
Explanations, okay. Explanations, elaborations. That's one of the E's. Thank you very much. Shani, go ahead. Can you think of the other E?
Examples.
Very good. Examples or experiences, right? So it has to do with what you have experienced or what you have heard other people experience. So experience is your own experience. Example is somebody else's that you have heard or watched, right? So you heard someone tell you a story, or you watched something on YouTube, or you heard something on the radio, or somebody tell you something. That's an example, external. Experience is internal, what you have experienced. And all of this must be explained or elaborated upon. Okay, very good. Thank you very much. All good. Okay, so remember, when you start your oral, you begin with the 5 minutes preparation phase, right? You walk into a room or you walk into an area, you are given the passage to sit down quietly to look at for 5 minutes. Okay, I'm sorry, Gabriel, are you able to hear me and see me clearly? I appreciate if you make eye contact with the screen, okay? And not look down too much. I'm not really sure what you're looking at. So that doesn't give me very much confidence. Okay, so very quickly, the 5 minutes should be divided into 3 minutes and 2 minutes. Okay, what do I mean by that? 3 minutes for the picture, 2 minutes for the passage. We are not talking about the passage today, so I'm going to swipe left and take that out of the picture. I'm only looking at 3 minutes. So 3 minutes, I look at the picture. What do I look for in the 3 minutes that I'm looking at, right? I look at the picture and I think of my TREES. Got it, everybody? Think about TREES. What exactly? Always remember, I must look at the picture first, because the first question will always begin with the fateful words, look at the picture, right? Have you all heard these words before, right? Your oral all the way from primary 3 up until now, every time you hear the first question, always look at the picture. It's never any other words. It's always look at the picture. Why? Because the first question is always about the picture. Remember, picture, self, and then world. Picture. In other words, you must use up every part of the picture. How do you do that? You examine the picture systematically to ensure you do not miss talking about any details. What do I mean by that? For example, let me tell you an analogy. Okay, you all know what's an analogy, right? I give you an analogy. You go to the best steak restaurant in Singapore. Let's say you go to Wolfgang. How many of you have heard of Wolfgang? Wolfgang Steakhouse, right? Most famous steakhouse in Singapore. Extremely expensive, right? You go there, you order a ribeye steak, okay? I'm sorry to all my Hindu friends who don't eat beef. I apologize. Let's say you order a steak, okay? And the steak comes on a huge plate. And on the plate, there is a steak. There are onions, there are carrots, there are potatoes, there are, like creamed spinach, all these things. And then out of this gigantic plate, you only eat the carrots. Right? Then at the end of the day, when you leave the table, on the table is a plate full of meat, potatoes, and peas. The only things eaten are the carrots. What would you say? What one word would you use to describe this scene of someone leaving the table having only eaten carrots at the most famous steakhouse in Singapore? Solomon, one word.
Wasted.
Wasted. Very good. Duncan, one word.
I wanted to say what Solomon said.
Okay, wasteful, wasted. Okay, thank you. And I would agree with all of you that it is indeed the greatest waste in the history of culinary arts. Can you please make sure that you are muted at all times? Shen Yi, I don't know where you are. Please mute yourself. Okay, so same thing. When you are given a picture and you only talk about one part of that picture, it is exactly the same like going to a steakhouse and only eating the carrots and leaving everything else on the plate behind. The one word I would use is wasteful. That picture has been designed to give you a buffet of things to talk about, and you only eat the carrots. That is super wasteful. So how to prevent yourself from doing that? During the preparation phase in the 3 minutes, please make sure you look at every part of the picture and prepare to talk about everything. Use up the whole thing. Clean your plate. Don't be wasteful. Eat everything on the plate. Get a balanced diet in your oral response. And then you will find that the teacher has nothing to say. If the teacher has to keep asking you questions about the picture, that means that you are not being properly thorough. You are wasteful. You have left food on your plate. Do you understand what I'm saying, Ryan? Nod your head if you can. Yes. Don't be wasteful. Always use every part of the picture. Identify the main features you would like to talk about first, then go into the details later. So there will be parts of the picture that are more prominent and more important. Apply your trees to those parts. Then the other parts that are smaller and less important, you can always mention them in passing, but use everything on the plate. Very much like when you eat steak, you will eat the steak first. You will not eat the carrots first, right? It would be very weird if you went to a steak restaurant and ate all the side dishes, but you leave the main dish behind. Okay, it's like going to eat carbonara pasta, picking up all the carbonara cream and leaving the pasta behind, right? It would be silly for you to do that. Same thing when you approach your oral response, please focus on answering the main or important points first, okay? And part of that has to do with the context. If this is a poster, make sure you mention this is a poster. If this is a letter, make sure you mention it is a letter and whether it is fulfilling its purpose, right? Then you can go into your TREES. So context, background, what is this? This is a poster. It is telling you about a particular event. And then what do you think about it? Okay, so say that. Say it, right? So then another thing to do is to link that picture to a bigger picture. So if this is a poster about healthy lifestyle exhibition, then you want to link it to this poster is encouraging us to live healthy lives. It's encouraging us to eat balanced diets, that kind of thing. Link it to a bigger idea and then bring in your personal experiences, talk about your examples, and then that's it. Okay, so again, summarize. In the 3 minutes, think about all these things. You don't have to say them out loud, but you have to think them. So that when you step in later and the teacher asks you the questions, you have all these things in mind, right? If you don't know what the picture is about, go back to the passage. Because remember, I just said, right? The passage is related to the picture. If you don't know what the picture is about, look at the passage. The passage is the clue that shows you the picture. Got it? Everybody clear? So the passage is the key. Many people neglect that. But remember, if you don't know what the main idea of the picture is going to be about, go back to the passage. Look at it again. It will tell you what you need to know because it's 100% related, right? Okay, so after we've done the preparation, the next phase is when you step in to the exam room and are in front of the oral examiners, okay? Now, this part is crucial. Always go in and have a good impression. Make sure your clothes are properly buttoned up. Make sure you are standing straight in front of the examiner. Make sure you greet the examiner first with a good morning or good afternoon, sir or madam. And then make sure you ask for permission to sit down after you have given them your name, class, and index number. Let me demonstrate. Good afternoon, madam. My name is Edwin Pang. My register number is number 2, and I'm from class 5B. Okay, so when I report that, the examiner will go, right, because you have to check your name against the list. Then they'll give you permission. You may be seated, after which you will sit down and wait for the examiner to say, you may begin. Do not jump into reading straight away because that betrays nervousness and that's jumping the gun. You may ask the examiner, may I begin? And the examiner will tell you, yes, you may. Then you start reading the passage in a measured and slow and steady pace. So let's pretend, again, I swipe left. We finished the reading. Now we are in the picture, okay? Irina, are you too comfortable? Okay, let's go. So now we are in the answering phase. We are answering the examiner. The examiner has asked the first question. Look at the picture. All right, always look at the picture. So always begin by stating your thoughts, right? Please state your thoughts as agree or disagree. So they'll always ask you, would you like to, right? For example, would you like to attend this event? Everybody, what is the answer you must always give? Yes, yes. Can anybody tell me why you can never say no to the first question about the picture? Why must you never say no? Kanishk?
There's more content for yes than no.
Absolutely. In fact, there is no content for no. Do you agree with me? If I say no, I have effectively wiped away the picture, right? I'm saying I'm not interested in this picture. I don't want to attend this event. I don't think this is important. The moment you swipe away and you wipe away, you have to come up with something entirely new. And trying to do that in the middle of an exam is the worst thing you can possibly do. Always use everything they give to you. It's like you ordered the steak at the Wolfgang steak restaurant, right? Then when the steak arrived, you took the plate and you threw it out the window. And then you tried to prepare your own steak. Do you think that is wise? No. In fact, it is foolish, right? They give you a prepared steak with beautifully browned onions and great potatoes and everything done beautifully. You take that beautifully cooked steak and you throw it out the window, right? That is wasteful. Again, always use what you are given and use it to the maximum. Max it out, right? Don't throw it out. Max it out, okay? Right, so I strongly agree. I believe that. I would definitely go. I would love to take part in, right? Always in the affirmative, in the positive, and then support your responses with plenty of thoughts, plenty of reasons, plenty of experiences, plenty of examples. A lot of students like to ask me this, Mr. Pang, I cannot think of any experiences. Well, then make it up. I say again, make it up. It's okay to make up experiences. Last year I attended the cruise on this ship called Her Majesty, the Queen, don't know what, doesn't matter, right? Invent an experience. It's okay, but don't invent something that you're unfamiliar with. That's my only thing. If you don't know anything about soccer, please don't talk about soccer because you won't have the vocabulary for it, right? If you want to invent something, make sure you are familiar enough with it that you can use the appropriate vocabulary, which I will go into again later, all right? So suggestions are optional. Can you think of something to improve this poster, improve this picture, improve this event, improve this experience? Then you can say, I believe that this can be further improved by doing this, that, and the other. Okay, so that's S for suggestions for improvement, which we didn't talk about just now. Okay, so again, question 1 is always about the picture. You use trees to expand your understanding of and what you want to say about the picture. I will demonstrate later. Okay, at this point in time, any questions? No, very good. I love it. Okay, so a few points to note about interaction. This is called stimulus-based conversation. This is not called stimulus-based, I look at the table, or stimulus-based, I look at the paper, or stimulus-based, I look at elsewhere, or stimulus-based, I just look at myself. Okay, it is stimulus-based conversation, meaning you have eye contact with the person you are talking to. Like you're talking to your friend keep looking at his belly button. Do you think very much of your friend? No, right? You will say, stop it, stop looking at your belly button, look at me, I'm talking to you, right? It's basic conversational technique that you sustain eye contact when you are in a conversation. Please don't look at the paper. Please don't block yourself. I know some of you are very shy. You cannot even imagine looking at the person in the eye. Then look at the nose, look at the nose, look at Mr. Pang's huge and gigantic nose, okay? Just look at my nose. When you look at my nose, it looks like you're looking at my eyes, all right? So that's the tip. If you cannot bear to look at the examiner's eyes because you're super shy and you are afraid of meeting his gaze, right? Maybe it's Mrs. Junari. Maybe she's very fierce. Maybe you're very scared of her. Maybe you are intimidated by the fact that she's the yearhead and that by looking at you, she has lightning in her eyes or something, I don't know, right? Then look at her nose. Imagine that her nose is a flower, or imagine it's a cauliflower, or imagine it's something funny, okay? And then just fixate on the nose, right? Please note, it's her nose, not your own nose. If you look at your own nose, you will look cross-eyed. Okay, please don't do that. Don't look at your own nose. Look at the person's nose so that you can see, the person can see that you are looking at them, right? At the very least, it looks like eye contact. If you can't make it, then you fake it, all right? So whenever they ask a question, please nod in agreement or acknowledgement, okay? Whenever they ask a question, so look at the picture. Do you think you would like to, while the teacher is reading, look at the picture, you're like, right? You're doing this, right? Please don't look like that. Okay, please don't look like that, right? It's very scary, intimidating, and very, awkward. So imagine if someone's just staring at you without any movement while you're talking to them, right? Think of how weird that would be. Okay, so please don't do that. Not along with them, but please don't do, please do not be frenetic and hyperactive in doing that, because that is just ridiculous, right? And the teacher will think much less of you, right? You are not some kind of knobby head doll that people put on top of their car dashboards, okay? You are not that kind of a thing, So please don't do, just generally at a sedate and logical pace, right? Preferably at the rhythm of the person's speech, right? As they're talking, you're like, yep, very good. So when you do this, you are giving a non-verbal signal that you're following the person's question. If you cannot hear, maybe Mrs. Junari is being extremely soft. Maybe Mrs. Junari has a sore throat on that day and she can't really be very loud and you can't hear her. Please do not, I repeat, do not go, huh? Okay? Do not go, huh? Right? As I said before in class, huh is the sound of your brains dribbling out the bottom of your neck, right? It makes you sound clueless. Please don't say, huh, right? Rather, use two different phrases. One, you cannot hear, say, could you please repeat the question? Two, you don't understand the question and you want the teacher to rephrase. Could you please rephrase the question? Teacher will use different words to ask the question so you can understand better. So again, cannot hear, could you please repeat yourself? Cannot understand, could you please rephrase the question. Everybody clear? You want to practice it for a bit by yourselves, okay? Could you please repeat the question? Could you please rephrase the question? Okay? One is for cannot hear, the other is for cannot understand. Okay? Cannot hear, could you please repeat the question, right? Could you please rephrase the question? And when the person repeats the question, please take the time to thank the person. So the teacher repeats the question, thank you, and then answer the question. The teacher rephrases the question, thank you, then answer the question. Okay, everybody? Repeat and rephrase. Remember, in case you do it, do not go, huh, right? That is the sound of your brains dribbling down the bottom of your cheek. Okay? Try to sound more intelligent. And finally, do not be limited to the question. Introduce related points where necessary. If I'm talking about healthy lifestyle, I can talk about diet, healthy eating. If I'm talking about my personal hobbies, I can talk about my favorite subject in school. They are related. Introduce new ideas. Take initiative to do that. Teachers appreciate that. And they will give you extra marks for going above and beyond the question. If the question is about a diet and you talk about exercise, above and beyond. If the question is about personal hobbies and you talk about favorite subjects, above and beyond. Okay, you're introducing new ideas, but they must be related. If I'm asking about your favorite subject, please don't suddenly talk about, I like chocolate cake is the best cake in the world. Please don't do that, okay? Because it's not related. I'm not talking about food. I'm talking about your hobbies, right? Then talk about your favorite subject. Yeah, you can talk about, my favorite subject is soccer. I also love PE. Because during PE, right, which is my favorite subject, I get to play soccer, right? It's related. I can connect, okay? So introducing other related ideas is a bonus level up when you talk about conversation, okay? We will work that in later, right? So interaction phase is the last phase. Now let's look at an actual example of a picture that may or may not appear during any one of your examinations, okay? So something similar to this, right? Remember what I said. This is a plate of food. Eat everything on it. Don't leave anything on the plate, is what I gave you as an analogy, right? Don't be wasteful. Eat everything on the plate. What that means is that you need to absolutely talk about every element in this picture. But there are some more important than others, right? Okay. For example, in this picture, you can tell that the games are more important. You want to talk about the games. You can tell that the center of the picture is more important. You want to talk about the date and the time and the location of this particular family challenge, right? So those are the important things. I talk about them first. Then the other peripheral things I might want to choose to talk about later. Okay, but important to focus on the more important elements of the picture. In this case, the center and maybe one or two of the games that you like more than the others. Okay, then you can talk about the others. I don't quite like that. I don't quite like this, and you can support with reasons. Okay, so let's go. So this is a type 1 question. Remember, it's always about the picture. Don't leave any part of the picture unaddressed. It's like leaving food on the table uneaten. Don't be wasteful. Okay, always connect your responses to the picture, but also come from yourself. TREES, remember? Begin with the definition of what the picture is. This is a brochure advertising a family challenge, right? I think that, right? So I'm telling you this is a brochure. I think that this is a very interesting poster because it gives me all the different games that I can play at the family challenge, right? I would love to join this activity because the question will be, would you be interested to attend such an event, right? So then you would say, oh, this is a poster of an event called the Family Challenge. I think it's a great poster because it shows me all these events. I would be really interested to attend this particular event because my favorite game in the whole wide world is potato sack race. I can run faster in a sack than I can without, whatever, okay? Just do whatever, all right? Okay, then describe the elements of each of the elements of the picture, respond to each of these parts of the pictures using TREES. Let me take, for example, gaming, right? Another wonderful event that's at this family challenge is gaming. I would love to participate in gaming because I am the best player in my entire block for Genshin Impact, which is a massive multiplayer online role-playing game. I have invested hundreds of hours into building my character up, and I am confident that I will be able to achieve the first place if I were pitted against other players of the same age, right? So did you see what I did? I did T, I did R, I did E, right? Okay, I gave you my own personal experiences, and then I talk about, I heard of my friend in the previous year who won this competition. That's an example of what I heard about. Or I watched many tutorial videos on YouTube about how to refine my playing practice on Genshin Impact, whatever. Okay, so I can bring in examples. I can bring in my own personal experience. I can give you reasons why I think I would do well in gaming because, you know, I've practiced many hours. I have a great character. I blah, 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 blah. So I can go in groups of 2s or 3s to supportive reasons. And that's just one picture, the gaming picture. I haven't even talked about tug of war. I haven't talked about obstacle race. I haven't talked about potato sack race. If I gave the same amount of attention to each of these pictures, I will be talking for 15 minutes, boys and girls, 15 minutes. So you cannot possibly run out of things to say if you talk about every part of this picture. And when you do that, you're giving the examiner a very positive impression of yourself. The examiner is thinking, wow, this child is so thorough and systematic. He's able to cover every picture and give so many reasons. Wow, I think it's already a band 1, right? At the first impression, the teacher is already impressed with you. It's easier for you then to answer the subsequent questions. The teacher will be more forgiving, okay? Because you've already established yourself as being very thorough with the picture. So don't leave anything in the picture behind. Is that clear, everybody? So picture, type 1. Now, type 2. This is about self, right? So picture, self, and society or world around you. So what activities do you and your family enjoy together? See, it's you lah. What do you enjoy together? Now, this picture, this question can either be about the picture or not. If you're very confident, right, and you have something that you really want to talk about, here is where you go away from the picture and talk about yourself. So let's say you are an avid badminton player. Let's say you are passionate about badminton and you know all the famous players, you know about Lin Tan and you know about all the, the great Malaysian shuttlers and all of that. And you want to show off your knowledge. Here is where you will go. Oh, my family and I love to play badminton. We have always been playing badminton for many years and we followed with great interest the careers of great badminton players like blah, 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 and blah. And you know, I've always wanted to do that. Then you can talk about that here. Okay? Or if you've got nothing to talk about, you can't think of anything. Your family doesn't go out at all. You all sit at home and stare at each other every evening and just have a meal together while looking at each other, let's say, okay? You got nothing to say. Then you just look at the picture. You can use the picture to answer this. That's fine. Okay, you can still talk, oh, my family and I love to attend, I don't know, we love to go for obstacle course races together, whatever, right? So you can use the pictures. But of course, that's second best. Best is come up with your own. Talk about your own, yourself, your personal experiences. What does that mean? It means you think about memories and predictions. Memories are obvious what they mean, what you have done before or what you have invented yourself doing before. You can come up with it, invent it by yourself. Predictions are things that you think you might enjoy, right? You haven't done it yet, but I think my family and I would love to go skydiving. I think we would love to go skydiving and jump off a plane somewhere and land in parachutes because I think we all are thrill seekers and we all love the experience, the adrenaline rush of falling out of a plane and thousands of feet above the air. None of us have any problems with a fear of heights. And therefore, I think as a family, we would enjoy this, but something that we would really love to do in the future. So predictions are things that you think you might enjoy in the future. And memories are things that you've already done in the past. Okay, so I effectively double the things I can say by thinking about the future and the past at the same time. Got it, everybody? So everything I'm doing is giving you a tool to double, triple, quadruple what you can say so that you'll never run out of things to say. You will never be in a situation where you're frozen, staring at the examiner, not knowing what to say because you think about these things. Memories and predictions, TREES. And then another very powerful role. Okay, sorry. Gabriel, go ahead.
The question is about what do you and your family enjoy doing together, right? Hello?
Yes, Gabriel?
The question is about what activities do you and your family enjoy doing together, right?
Yes.
Can we say that we will definitely not do this activity or that activity?
No, because that's not the question, right? The question is not asking you what you will not do. The question is asking you what you will do. But that can come later, right? You can use those contrasting points after you have said what you will do, right? So you must say what you do first. Then if you run out of things to say, you can say what you don't do, which is my next point, right, Gabriel? Okay. Again, support with reasons. I already mentioned triplets, 3 reasons. using the rule of contrast, like Gabriel just said. Let's say I cannot think of enough things that we do together. Then you might want to, after you talk about things you do together, talk about things you don't want to do together, right? I don't think we can go skydiving because my father is afraid of heights, right? Don't think we can go to the zoo because mom is afraid of snakes, right? But you cannot talk about that first. Gabriel, do you understand what I'm saying? You know why? Because that's not the question. The question did not ask you what you cannot do together as a family. It is asking you what do you enjoy. So you must start with what you enjoy. And then as an add-on, you can talk about what you don't enjoy. That can be the flip side, the contrast. So high, low, big, small, good, bad, you can do the contrasting elements. Anytime a question asks you whether you like, you can always talk about what you dislike after that. Anytime the question asks you whether this is good, you can always talk about what is bad about it after you talk about what is good. So that way you double what you have to say. Again, double, triple, quadruple the content of what you have to say using the same question. Okay? I must be smart about it, right? And finally, always summarize your response. In summary, right? In conclusion, right? All that's said and done, after all is said and done, all these are sample phrases you can use. In summary, in conclusion, after all is said and done, I believe that, then you repeat your thought, right? I believe that my family and I should do more together so that we can build our family ties and bonds. I believe that healthy lifestyle is important because we all want to grow old gracefully. I believe that, so you always summarize. Why is this important? Two reasons. One, it's important to summarize everything so that the teacher is reminded that you have not strayed off topic. Everything you have said comes back to this point. So everything is given a mark. Two, in summary, in conclusion, after all is said and done, also indicates to the teacher that you are finished. The teacher will know to move on to the next question without long, awkward pauses. Imagine you talk, and suddenly you just, Then the teacher will be like, have you finished? And then, he won't be very certain. So always indicate when you finish by using the words in summary, in conclusion, after all is said and done. That way, you're indicating to the teacher, I'm finishing, and the teacher will know, be very grateful to you, and know to move on to the next question. Yes, Nicholas?
If we don't know what to say, are we allowed to just make up something?
I already said, if you cannot remember or you don't have any experiences, you are allowed to invent something. But please make sure that what you invent is something that is logical, plausible, and within your frame of experience, right? Don't make something up that you are unfamiliar with. Don't make something up that you have no experience of whatsoever, right? Do it with something that you are familiar with, all right? For example, you might be a soccer player, but maybe you've never been in a school competition, but you play soccer, right? You know the terms and the conditions, right? Then you can talk about pretending that you were at a school competition, right? Because you can imagine using the vocabulary you have. But if you're not a soccer player, please don't do that, right? Because that will put you at a disadvantage. And the teacher will know you are making it up. Very clear, because you don't have the vocabulary for it. Okay? So that's my only extension. So always summarize everything. And when you summarize something, right, it gives a clear signal to the teacher, A, you have been on topic, and B, you are now coming to an end. And the teacher can move on without any fear of cutting you off. Okay, Duncan?
Are we coming to an end?
Yes, we are coming to an end. Okay, I will finish within the next 5 to 10 minutes. Is everybody okay? All good, right? Again, if you need to excuse yourself during this session, please just go ahead. It's fine. I will post the recording by this evening, okay? You will not have missed anything, right? But any questions, please continue to ask. Thank you. You've been very attentive, very good as an audience. Awesome. Thank you, Joshua. I saw your thumbs up. Okay, last question is about the world. Bigger ideas, society in general, right? So remember, picture, self-world. Picture, self-world. So now the third question is always about something other than yourself. So right down here, spending time doing things together helps us understand one another better, strengthen our relationship. What kind of activities do you enjoy being engaged with your friends? Do you think your friends feel the same way? So it's more than you. It's not your friends, right? It's more than you. It's bigger, the world around you, the society around you. Do you think your friends will enjoy these activities as well? Okay, so now it's for you to think outside of yourself to a bigger idea, like friendship, like, unity, like doing things together, like, health, like nutrition, big ideas that you link now to yourself. So remember, from the picture, I link to myself. From myself, I link to the world or to the people around me. Okay, so there's a very clear logical line in every oral examination. If you follow this line, you can't go wrong. Always remember, it begins with a picture. Don't leave anything on the plate. You link it to yourself, use trees to enunciate and elaborate on your ideas, and then you link to your other friends or the world around you, right? Out into the world. Very easy. If you follow this flow, you cannot ever go out of point. And everything you say will be used on your benefit, right? For your marks. Okay? So type 3 questions are often not very related to the picture, but they are related to the general theme. And it requires that you answer from your experiences. And to answer the question again, yes, you can make up these experiences, like Nicholas mentioned earlier. And examples, you have heard of something, you watch something on YouTube, on TV, you can bring these up examples. You can use the past and the future. If not enough memories, make some up in the future. Think of things that you would like to do or you would like to experience, okay? You double or triple or quadruple your responses that way. And always remember to give your thoughts, your responses, your reasons, your examples, your experiences, your explanations, okay? And like Gabriel mentioned earlier, you can come up with the contrasting or the opposite response to double what you have to say. Again, so double, triple, quadruple, then double it again. You will never run out of things to say, okay? So the system is simple. And basically, always remember to summarize, right? In summary, in conclusion, right, at the end of the day, after all is said and done, all these are summarizing points that you can use to indicate to the teacher that you are done. And I am done. Okay, this is the bulk of my presentation. I'm just going to spend 1 minute to show you some content I've generated for you, which I will leave you to read at your leisure. Okay, I will send it out to you. You go and read it by yourselves. Okay, so these are some commonly tested topics that will sometimes appear and they are quite general. Okay, and I'll explain to you, orientate you, then I'll leave you to read it yourself. Okay, coming to an end already. A few minutes more. So I split the content into 3 main sections corresponding to question 1, 2, and 3, by the way. Okay, so it's self, school, and society. Okay, self, school, society. All topics in oral fall into either one of these categories and sometimes into 2 or more. Okay, all topics either fall into topics about yourself, topics about your school, or topics about society in general. Okay, Singapore lah. Okay, before we talk about these categories, you must memorize the school values and the school mission and vision. If you can link your responses to the school values and the school mission and vision, wow, you will impress any teacher that invigilates you. I say again, if you can memorize the school vision and mission and the values, and you can link these values, missions, and visions to your responses, wow, you will impress any teacher that you come across, even if the teacher is not from Sin Min Primary School. I repeat, even if the teacher is not from Sin Min Primary School during PSLE, this also will work as a technique. So try to memorize this. Every Simonite, a confident citizen of character ready for the future. Simin is here to nurture your hearts and your minds for a changing future, for a changing world. So remember all these keywords and regurgitate them during the, for example, it's very important for us to be good at gaming because learning how to game and use the computer properly helps us to become confident citizens of character, ready for the future, able to navigate a changing world with hearts and minds that are strengthened with knowledge and skill. You see, I weave all these words in. Wow, teacher will be like, wow, fantastic. Aware of the school values, aware of, I must be resilient and responsible in the way that I use the internet because it is the 2 core school values that we learn in Sin Min Primary School. Wow, responsibility and resilience. Wow. Okay, so here we go. Okay, these are the 3 main categories and some sample topics that I prepared for you. Okay, so just look through. Okay, if you have any questions, I guess you can ask me later. So self, school, and Singapore or world. Okay, society, Singapore, right? School, all these events. Make sure you're familiar with it. Okay, look through it. Have something to say about each of these events because any of them may appear, right? National Day, for example. This year's National Day, what's the theme? What's the song? What's the general gist of the celebrations? I've written it here for you. Teachers' Day, this year's Teachers' Day. What's the theme? What's the topic? What was the practice? What was the special thing about this year's Teachers' Day because of PE? Right? I've written all this for you. right? School. What are the main events that happen in school, right? What are the main events that happen in Mr. Pang's class? What makes us special from every other class that will make us stand out from every other student that's being tested for oral? What do we do as 5B that makes us 5B, right? Think of all these special things, okay? And then talk about them during your oral, because that will make you stand out. That will be your additional experience that nobody else has except for you, okay? And then Zoom lessons. We have Zoom lessons, right? So think about, why is it that we do Zoom lessons? What are the advantages? What are the disadvantages? What are the strengths that you displayed when you were in primary 2 during COVID? What was your experience? Because COVID might come out again. Since this is the first year we are clear of COVID, right? We are out of COVID and back to normal. You might want to contrast today with 2 years ago, 3 years ago during COVID. I've included some websites with additional resources for you to look at, right? News articles, tips, tricks, additional content, vocabularies, all here. Okay? Any questions? 45-minute mark. I tried to be as true to the time as I possibly could. Okay. No questions at all. Then I give you homework, okay? Very simple, huh? Homework A, read the PowerPoint slides I'm about to send to you. Okay? Homework B, go into SLS and complete the listening comprehension assignment that I've assigned to you. Very easy one, okay? Very short one, very easy one, just to test the system. And then I will post another oral assignment for you over the weekend. I wasn't able to do it this week because I was A, on holiday, B, SLS was problematic. Do you all know SLS was down for a few days, right? And there were some weird things that, some Tamil assignments got assigned to everybody and some, Chinese assignments got assigned to non-Chinese students. So a lot of things. So I didn't want to get into that. So I didn't post, right? But I've just posted. It seems to be stable now. Access it, do it, check over the weekend to complete the oral assignment I will give to all of you. Okay, I will send you additional resources. I will record myself answering different PSLE oral questions so you can hear what a teacher would consider is a full mark version of a response. Okay, so you can benchmark yourself against it. I don't expect you to perform at my level, but at least half of it. Okay, half of my level will get you comfortably to the highest band already. Okay, any questions? So 2 homework, listening, oral. That's it. Thank you very much. You are free to enjoy the rest of your 4-day holiday. Bye. Any questions? Stay behind. Ask questions. Yes, Gabriel?
I accidentally lost the PSLE homework that you gave me. I need you to send if you have a digital copy, can you send it to my friend?
Are you talking about the practice paper?
Yeah.
The
So like
practice.
the one that you gave before school holidays. There was one PSLE one. You can ask Jairus. I saw him.
I need more details than that. I give you a lot of different practice papers and a lot of different worksheets. And a lot of them were actually from PSLE. So I don't know which specific one you are referring to, Gabriel. I need more information. I will gladly replace it for you, of course, but I need to know which one it is.
It's the one that you gave at school, not on WhatsApp, just before the school holiday. There's one worksheet, booklet A, booklet B.
Okay, I tell you what, when we get back to school on Tuesday, you just find someone else's worksheet and you show it to me so that I can make a copy for you. Can? I'll make another copy for you. I can't deduce from what you are saying now what exactly it is. I've given too many things. Yes, Ariel?
He meant the end of year examination.
Huh? That's not PSLE, what? End of year examination? Okay, never mind.
He meant the booklet.
The one you gave us for homework.
Are you sure that's what he meant?
Yeah, he told me yesterday.
So which one is it?
The end year examination you gave us for homework.
So this is not PSLE, right? This is
The one I'm showing you.
Sinmin end of year examination. Jairus, can you see whether that's the one Ariel is showing?
Yeah, it's this one.
Okay,
booklet A and booklet B.
Okay, I'll wait. Can you bring it up? Can you bring it up to me again?
Booklet A.
What year is it? What year is it?
It's 2021.
Okay, 2021. Okay, I'll send a copy to him. All right. Yes, Duncan. Thanks, Ariel. Thanks, Jairus. Yes, Duncan. What is it?
I forgot. Can I leave now?
Yes. Yes, Emilia.
Which paper is used for the SLS thing called 5B listening comprehension practice 01?
Oh, that one you don't need any paper because I've already embedded the pictures inside the listening exercise. It's self-contained.
Then
You don't
how
answer
about
it on SLS.
then how about this one that I didn't come like
Oh, that
The
one, Mr.
Homework,
Peng,
is it? Listening comprehension
like
homework, is it?
listening? Yeah.
Yeah, that one I did together with you, all right, Ariel? I did in a class together with you, all right? Yeah, so that one you have to copy the answers and annotations from somebody who was there. It was not done as homework.
Okay.
But it is the first comprehension of semester 2 listening comprehension. It's the first semester 2 listening comprehension. I don't know if you have the booklet. It's green in color.
Okay, I have the one green in color.
Then it's not done at all, right? It's completely blank, right?
I've done it. The first one we did together.
Okay, then I think that's it, lor. That's the one, lor. That's the one that we did together.
Then
Yeah.
the homework, the one you're
Mhm.
gonna send the listening and the oral.
Yeah, that's right. That's all.
You don't need the booklet.
No,
Don't need the
you just
booklet.
do it on SLS.
Just do it on SLS. Yeah, that one no booklet need required. Picture is there already. Yeah, I think if I'm not wrong, only 4 or 5 questions. That one's very short. Yeah. Okay, Ken? That's all. Thank you, everybody. Have a good holiday. Bye. I'm gonna stop the recording. Bye.
Bye.